Hello.
Hey Chuck, how's things?
Good, good. Sorry about that. I got held up at the bank.
Life. Life, it's called life.
How
How are
are
you?
you?
I'm great.
I'm doing I'm doing good. Just getting back on a normal daily schedule now that we're off tour.
Yep, cool. Now you just finished up Clash of the Titans, correct?
Yeah, just finished with Creator and Possessed.
How was that run for you?
It was awesome. It was a really good run. We haven't done a full-on Canadian run for a little bit, so we got a bunch of Canadian dates in there. It was good. All three bands were on fire. Everybody had really great sets, got along well. When everybody had some bus issues, but we made it to the end.
Awesome. And you'll be down here in June next year, of course, without buses. So
Yeah.
so just relying on the airlines. What can fans expect when you head down here in like 7 months?
Well, we haven't been there since 2012, so it's like a lifetime ago since we've been there, I believe.
Yeah,
And it's ever since I think Soundwave, when that was still around, was probably the last time we've kind of came through.
yep.
And we're excited because it's been hard to get there for so many years, especially after the pandemic. Just the timing wasn't right. Just the promoters just didn't make sense financially to come there yet. And finally it's worked out. So we're excited. Australia's always been one of my favorite places to go and play, vacation. I have a lot of friends there, so we're excited to see our friends again and be there for the fans. But 12 years, so I'm
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what is that fans going to show up. They're going to be the old timers like myself, or a new generation of fans. So it's going to be interesting.
I think you'll have a nice mix. You'll have the old timers who may not go in the pit because they don't want to bust a hip, and then you'll have the new ones which will take up the flag. So I think you'll get a great mix. Um, so you said you vacation down here. Where's your favorite spot in Australia to just chill out?
Bondi Beach. Oh man, I love it. I love it. Bondi Beach. Stayed there for about 10 days and it was wonderful. Um,
Awesome.
really relaxing. We love the ocean. Food was great. The area was awesome. So I look forward to trying to get back there as well.
Cool. Now, your last record was a few years ago. When do you see new music on the horizon for Testament?
Well, I think by the time we come to Australia, we'll have a new record. Um,
Fantastic.
we're 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 finished recording now. There's a couple songs I need to sing.
Yep.
Some leads need to happen, but the drums and all the songs are done. It's just a matter of getting them recorded, um, which is nice because we're not in a very big hurry because, of course, we always use Andy Sneap to mix our records, but Andy's busy in Judas Priest now. So we have a new producer that's going to mix the record. He's not available till January. So that kind of bought us a little time to really button up the last details of the record. And I think probably it should probably out first quarter, right at the end of the first quarter next year.
Lovely. And, for people that don't know, Testament have their own coffee. Tell us more about the coffee.
Yeah, it's really good coffee. It's a dark roast coffee. We're working with this concept cafes. I went through about 12 different beans to find the right one that we enjoyed. And it took some time, but what really drew me to them was the artwork. All the copies that release for all the metal bands they have, the art is so cool.
Yeah.
And what they did for our Testament copy was really cool, the artwork. And it's a really good copy. We really stand behind it. And we were drinking it every day on tour in the dressing room. We went out and bought a coffee pot and a grinder
No.
just so we can have coffee every single day. But it's something new. I mean, as you know, bands don't get rich by selling records these days.
Yep.
You got to work a little harder, get on the road, sell merchandise, sell coffee, sell beer, sell whiskey, sell everything you can to kind of keep the ball rolling for bands. So it was just another thing that a company came up, offered interest in Testament, and we followed up with it.
even the meet and greets, paid meet and greets are sort of basically how bands make a good portion of money these days. So um, coffee is just a natural thing now because the 80s are gone, the sex, drugs, and rock and roll are gone. It's now coffee and trying to stay awake to play the show.
It's that, but we do sell a whiskey and they're selling beer and we're actually our next year we're going to be sponsoring a NASCAR. So
Wow.
we'll see how that goes, but opportunities coming up, and we're always on the look to try something new, to get to a new audience, to try to get to anybody to turn them on to metal, you know.
Can you remember the very first time you stood on a stage and performed for somebody?
Um, yeah, I would say it was my very first band in a small bar near our hometown. I joined a band and all we did was practice in the studio, just rehearsing music. And
Yeah.
then we finally got our first show, and on a stage. Of course, we played beer parties, and those are different because weren't taking it serious. It was more for
Yeah.
fun, drinking beer, having fun with our friends. But to actually perform on stage in front of people you don't know, it
Yeah.
was a little bit of a scary feeling. And for me, I've always transformed into somebody else, another personality. Every time I hit the stage, you always go that extra mile to try to entertain. So I just always remember from that first day, just running around, banging my head, running around like a maniac.
Has there ever been any mic stand related injuries on stage? A stray mic stand as you've clocked one of your bandmates on the way past?
Yeah, not for me, but for some fans we've had in the early 80s. A little too much alcohol on stage. A guy in the front row tied my shoelaces together.
Right.
And and I kept warning him and warning him and warning him, and he just kept tying my shoes together. And I was a little drunk. It was young on in my career, and we used to always drink a little bit before the stage. So the microphone found its way to his forehead, and it didn't work out well for him.
Lo and behold, your shoes stayed untied.
Shoes stayed untied.
Perfect. That's great. He's taken a lot of time out of his day to not be invested. It'd be like someone being in the front row with a phone right now and not looking at the band. That's the 1980s version of being on your phone, is tying the guy's shoes together.
Well, it's funny you say that because we have had that happen where girls were with their boyfriends, in the front row, and she's on her phone just texting away. So I took my water, took a little sip, and just spit it out right on the phone.
That's
And
all right.
they didn't appreciate that, but I woke them up. Come on, you're on the front row,
Yep.
of the show. If not, go to the back so I can't see that.
And I literally watched a live DVD for Slash the other day, shot it in like the whiskey, and people are on the front in the front row on their phones, knowing it's being filmed for Blu-ray. Like it's like, dudes, come on,
That's ridiculous.
yeah. Hey, Ghost have just announced a new tour where they're making people lock up their phones. Giving them those pouches, making them lock it up. So I'm all for it.
Wow, yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
But
Does it?
then again, we live on social media, so
Yeah.
you want them to take videos, pictures, and spread the word. But it's a shame for them just to be checking their emails,
Yeah.
during the show.
Oh, look, I take photos at the gig. So for me, it's like, just come look on my page. You'll find one that's not on your phone.
Right.
Yeah. So everyone talks about the thrash big four, and to me, there's more than four big thrash bands. There's quite a wide variety of thrash bands that have made their mark. If you could turn someone on besides Testament to a band that may have flown under the radar, who would it be?
Well, I mean, that's always been a question for me. Big four, I don't like that term
Yep.
because definition of me as big four means who sold the most records, who has platinum records on their wall, which the big four truly are the big four at that
Yep.
time for our genre of music. Now, were there other bands that came before that big four? Yeah, there are.
Yep.
Bands like Creator, bands like Sodom, bands that have been, even Possessed, bands like that who've been around since 1982, 81, playing extreme metal, but maybe not getting the recognition, or maybe because they were on a smaller record label that didn't have as much exposure as some of these bands that became the big four did.
Yeah.
So, when it's big four, I relate it to who sold records.
Yep.
And of course, those four are the big four, and everybody after, you know, have their place in history for creation of that style of music. But I don't like the term big four.
Yep. I get you. All right. As I let you go today, June 2025, Testament in Australia. Give us the Reader's Digest version of what kind of ass kicking is about to happen.
Well, it's been 12 years. So we have one, two, three, we'll have four new records
Yep.
coming there that we not performed. And I'm very proud of those last three or four records. But the new record is very exciting because I think it's very good. We have a new drummer, Chris Dovis, that really influenced Eric to really play some really good metal.
Yep.
And we're very excited. Usually when you put a new record out, you might play one or two songs. I could see us playing more than that on this new record. So hopefully when we come there, new record will be out. We'll come with maybe three or four new tracks to play. Um, Australia might even be the first place we go when that record comes out, because we're not doing America before. We're doing uh, Australia first and then going to Europe at the end of the year. So Australia might be in for the first time the world gets to hear some new Testament music live.
World Premiere Testament coming to Australia 2025. Chuck, been a pleasure. Look forward to seeing you in Brisbane, man.
All right, Andrew, hopefully we'll see you down there.
Thank you, man. Bye.
Peace.